Hey everybody, it's Renee here, and today I am making a video just making some small ephemera for some upcoming journals and other projects I'm making. So if that's something you want to see, and we're going to be making some cool stuff and using some new products, you want to check out this video. So hey everybody, I am making some little pieces of ephemera and things for my upcoming journal that's coming up, and I'm sure from your last video when I was making some pieces there as well, you were asked to try and figure out what kind of journal based on what I'm making I am making next. And I'm going to show you some pieces and see if it gives you any idea of the kind of journal I am making. Is that a clue? My next journal is a Versailles Marie Antoinette journal. So I'm trying to do a lot of my pieces with colors like that and with a French flair and French script, if you will. One thing I do know, I was in Versailles, it's been a long time now, I haven't been there since 2007, but it was very cool. I have a lot of pictures that I took myself, and I will be incorporating stuff like that into my album, into my journal. Here are some pieces that I've already made. I made these a couple weeks ago, and I will be putting some stamping and things on there. I did gesso, and I did some inks and some collage. So these are some kind of pieces I am putting in there. Show you a few more. Little bits and pieces. She said let them eat cake, so there's that one. I'm trying to distress them a little bit. And then this one. And I will probably be adding some stuff on here as well. And then this is just some collage with some rice paper and with some other papers as well, using a little bit of gesso and some gel medium. So there's that one. Some items I'm making now, these are digitals I printed off of files I bought off Etsy. And I will try and put some links down below. And with these, it's just a lightweight computer paper, but I have a really good printer. I use an Epson EcoTank. So some of these you will know have a newer date. So like this one, it says, I believe it's 1927. Clearly Versailles Marie Antoinette was a lot earlier than that. So I'm going to be using parts of this that don't show dates. Like this one is 1885, so we're getting, down there a little bit, but it's still not the time frame. So I'm not going to be having dates in here. I will be cutting that out so it is true to the time frame somewhat. Other pieces I am going to be using are some stamps that I bought from Lorna at Taylormade Journals, and her link is down below. These are a one and done, but she has different stamp sets that she comes and creates and puts up for sale for a limited time, so you want to get up on that. So these all have a little bit of a French flair, so I will be putting these in there as well. That one clearly will be in there. And this one. So we're doing those. I have lots of different pieces. I'm using a bunch of stuff from the new 49 and Market line, including some of these amazing washi tapes. It's a 4-inch roll. So I'll be doing that, and it has a trimmer, kind of like your saran wrap does. Look at that. These are going to be cool on there, so I'll be using those. I will be using, with my stamps, my platform and the Midas Spectrum Noir metallic pigment. It's gold or Dorado gold, so I will be using that. And I will be using either the pad or the spray of Tim Holtz's new Distress Saltwater Taffy. So I will be using that as well. So we have a lot of things to create. There's going to be some speed ups and some just regular, and you will probably hear cats fighting in the background and other things going on. But anyways, let's get going. This piece I will stitch on once I have my sewing machine out. This is leftover tape register roll. normally I would do these brown, but I'm going to do this one a little bit pink today. Just because Marie Antoinette was very much into pretty things and kind of a girly girl. So there's that piece, and then I'm going to back that once this is stitched, or actually I can do it before even. I'll put it back on something else and then stitch that across, and there's one piece of ephemera for our journal. This piece here, this is just a coffee filter that I coffee stained a while back with our coffee stain mixture, and I will link that video so you can try and make your own coffee stain. And I'm going to cover a good chunk of it with our piece here. So I'm going to glue it down and then cut around it on the other side. And you'll notice that I'm probably going over, but this purple glue dries clear, so you won't see it as soon as it dries. And that's one way you know that it's dried. And I'm leaving this open end here, so I could put something on this side as well. So I'm going to tack that down, like so. And now I'm going to just lift that up and trim around it. These are so much fun. Just making use of stuff that you would never normally use, or stuff that you're maybe getting rid of. For me, a lot of the times, a lot of the stuff I get is from garage sales or recycle stations, to reuse things and use up in my projects, make new life out of something you were going to throw away. And now we're just going to trim this little piece off. There we go. So now we have this area right here that we need to adorn with something else. So let's see, what do we have? There's a few things we could put in here. One thing is something collage-y. Another thing we could use is some of this awesome washi tape. So let's maybe try some of that. So it's really neat because it comes with this slider, like you would do with your, I say saran wrap, but with your cling film. And then you just slide it across, and that is it. And with something this wide, this is really nice to have. It's a lot easier than ripping. So I am going to tack that down here. I'm going to have extra, and I will just trim that away as well. And we'll use that on something else. So try and get all the bubbles, all the air, and tack that down nicely. Turned out good. And we could even put a little bit of ink on there if we wanted to. Give that some color. Okay, so there are those pieces. That's there. So now with this, you could go in if you want to use this color, and this color is kind of, it's a little faint, but it's right in here as well. we'll grab out our saltwater taffy oxide pad. Kind of juice up our tool here and just put some color in. And I might, once I get my sewing machine out, I don't know, stitch around just the outside edge, kind of the V here, because you want to leave this open because that is our pocket. Okay, so there is that. Give it a little bit of color. Looks so pretty. So now you could put something in here if you wanted to. There's so many different things you could do. Whether it's, you know, a card, you know, you've got lots of script going on, so you could do something like that. This was just from the dollar store here, but there's things like you could put on little roses. This, which I will be using for sure in something, maybe even this. I plan on probably putting it in a pocket, but these kind of gold tipped feathers. So put some feathers in there. There are so many things you can do. This I thought was kind of neat, but there is English on it. So if there's any that don't have English, you could probably use it, or you could even cut it out or cover the English parts. But this is postage stamp washi. So there's an idea. And then here's just this one, which is flowers, which we could also do. So let's see what this looks like. Because if you've been to Marie Antoinette's palatial gardens, it's something else. There's flowers and all kinds of beauty there. So it's not just the big palace you see when you usually see them talk about Marie Antoinette. Okay, so we can maybe put some of this in here and just give it a rip, and maybe some in here. Give that a little bit of a rip. Sometimes with washi it can lift. I don't know if this one will, but if it does, you can just use a little bit of, you know, your glue stick or whatever you might have. So I'm going to leave that for now. We can always come back and do something later. I'm going to let that dry. And then, like I said, I will stitch along this edge with the sewing machine once we get that out. And by then, our purple will have dried clear. So that is another piece. And I'm just, for the sake of this video, going to make one more piece. And I am going to use this. And I've created this before. And this is just on, this is packing, like a packing paper that went in a box for shipping. So I took that out. I use this as our base. You could always go through on here with the coffee stain and do that as well. But otherwise, I am going to make a tag out of this. So to make a tag, all I'm going to do is I am going to trace a tag that I already have, and it's a Dina Wakley tag. And I am going to do that and then create a tag out of this using that. So let's do that now. So I'm using this larger tag just to use as the tracing. So I'm going to put that on the back, slide it down to just like so. And doesn't matter what you use, I'll just use a pencil here and trace it. There's lots of places where you can buy tag die cuts and whatnot, but you really don't need them if you have a set of paper tags of different sizes. That's good enough for me. There's some people that prefer to have a die cut, but it's all personal preference. So with this, you can get out your trimmer and trim it. With me, I'm just going to use my scissors. Cut that out. And that hole, you can always cut out using a crocodile or a hole punch. I usually do a 3/16 with my crocodile, And then you can always use an eyelet to just finish it off. So that would be a 3/16 eyelet. Okay, so there's that. So there is our tag, and it's nice and crunchy, and I love it like that. So we're gonna do this. I am going to ink this one with the brown. So I am using for my brown walnut stain. And that is an oxide. Get out our handy dandy little tool here. And normally with this, I do it on here, but then it gets it dirty. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use, because I know I'm not going to be using the back side of this, I am going to just edge it on this piece of paper so I don't have to clean off my mat, being real lazy here. And you can probably see through the mat, you will see my Tim Holtz glass mat underneath. And I use it when I'm creating, when I'm not making my videos, just because I don't like clanking and hitting stuff on the glass. So this one is a plastic mat, so it's a lot quieter. That's the only reason I'm covering it up, because the glass mat does work amazing. Okay, so we're almost done this. Get a little rub in the middle so it looks a little bit more natural. It's always good, I find, to do this where the cracks and the crinkles are, because then it looks authentic. Okay, so there's that. So there's our tag, and now we can add some bits and pieces to this. So what I am going to do is I am going to add some washi. We can add some more bits and pieces like flowers and different die cuts. I'm trying to again find stuff that's French, not English, and stuff that might be more from that time. So there's so many things you could use, and that's part of my problem, is I have so many things I could use. So I am going to use this and just rip out parts of this. And with me, I don't like to have the white showing, so I always pull towards me so that white is there. If you pull away like that, you will have the white. So that is just what I like to do for my journals. All right, there's that. And with this one, we can distress this as well. It would look kind of funny, excuse me, now that we've distressed that if this wasn't distressed. So we will just give it a little rub. And for those of you who like some of these papers, there are so many digitals online, so make sure you check out Etsy for some amazing creators of digitals. And with me, I know some people say I don't like to do full digital books, and I do and I don't. Sometimes it depends what mood I'm in. I will do full digitals. Other times I do a hybrid of both, because I really like to be hands-on too and make my own pieces. So that's always good too. So you can do a little bit of both. You don't have to do solely just digitals. All right, so this one you can put there. And with some of these, I like to run them off the edge, not just have them straight on the tag. And that is what I'm gonna do with this one. So get out our glue stick. So you want to make sure you don't totally go to the edge with your glue. There. Okay, Another thing I like to do is use fabrics. So one thing I like to put on sometimes is tulle. So you could use tulle, you could use some taffeta, you could use some ribbon. There's a whole bunch of different things you could use for this. I am going to use a little bit of ribbon on this one. I have a whole bunch of sari ribbons, so I'm going to use a little bit of that. So here's my sari ribbon. And with this, you could like wrap it in however. You could even use this just, you want to use this as your, in your eyelet, which is maybe what I will do. I want to have something with the sari ribbon on this piece, just because I think it just looks so pretty. And I'm a huge fan of sari ribbon. I use it a fair bit. So I will do that. I'm going to put some of this washi on just because it's so pretty. And this is a different one. This isn't the one that we just used. And because I don't want it to be perfect. And I'm going to pop it down here. Actually, we'll put it down here below that little title there. And pop it like so. So there's that. We can put like even like, you know, normally I would say cheesecloth or something like that because that's what I like to tend to use in journals. But with this being Marie Antoinette and she was very posh, that just doesn't seem right to use cheesecloth. So you want to have something very fancy. So we're going to have to try and use something a little fancier than cheesecloth. So I think I am going to use some tulle. So I'm going to put that on there. Okay, well, I decided I'm not going to use the tulle on this yet. I have this huge roll of, it's 100 yards, but it's Decorette brand ribbon. And this is fairly old. I am just going to clip off a little bit of this and use this. And this is, it's not really paper, but it's kind of like that. It's kind of crunchy. I will use a little bit of that. So you can put that like that. You can put it sideways. I think I'm going to put it upright, like so. Just make sure when you put this on here, you're very aware of where that hole is going to go with your eyelet that you haven't cut out yet. So now we can just go through the middle with our glue stick. And just go up like that, all the way to the end, and then plant that down. There we go. And then tack that down. Okay, so that is now stuck down. There's other things that we could use, like this cute little flower. I have these images that I bought a while back from Oxford Expressions, and you could cut these out, and they're supposed to be Marie Antoinette, but I don't think they all are. This one, I don't know what that is. It's kind of weird looking, but there's that. This, I really like this. It does have English in here, but you could even cut around the roses and use that rose piece. And this is a digital that I printed off of the internet. These are also some other pieces you could always use. This one is too big for this one, but there's that piece. And some of this ephemera. This would be pretty. Giant butterfly. I really like this one. That would be great. We might even use that. And then these are great for backgrounds and to piece together. So I think I am going to use this one. And we can tack that on. I find because there's so many pieces to this and so many elements that it's going to be hard to stick it on with a glue stick. So what I like to use as kind of my glue of choice to stick bigger things down, because you know it's not going to move, is E6000. It's by far my favorite glue and adhesive, and I use it a lot. I go through a lot. I buy a lot of this on Amazon. So I put it right down the middle. I use a fair bit because it is going to move over when you shove it down. Okay, so take off that piece and stick it down. So then that will spread out and stick. I absolutely love this. Another reason I always put my glue in the middle with something like this is because it leaves the outside edges open. So if you decide you want to go back and add something, you can still plop it underneath because you put your adhesive in the middle. So still tacking it down firmly and spreading it out a little bit, but you can still tack stuff underneath. So there's that piece, and I think I'm going to use this. And once the eyelet is punched and put in, that will be our tag. So I like how that one turned out. So these are our pieces, and again, this one will be stitched down. This one will have the eyelet, and then we have this piece. And I may or may not tack this onto some cardstock, and this will be stitched as well. So those are our 3 pieces, showing you the before, and I will be showing the final album, the journal that I make with my Marie Antoinette when it's available. So you'll see what these are like once this is completed. So thanks for watching. I hope it gave you some ideas of different things you can use using bits and pieces around your house and in your craft room. And I hope you enjoy my journey making all my fun creative things. If you like my channel, please make sure that you subscribe and hit the like button on my videos, and check out all my media down below. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have an awesome day.